Emerrias' mic is having issues this time, so please don't roast us too hard for any sounds here and there, you know? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 15 of Creative Minds. I am here with, we are your hosts, MasterEth and Emerrias. And today, we're going to talk about something that has been on my mind and maybe in the back of Master Eve's mind for a while now. And those are 2 or 3 different things. What's on the agenda today? First, we talk about the creative grind and hustle, sitting at your desk doing creative stuff. You were using your brain to come up with something from nothing. And versus the grind of being out in the field, grabbing a camera, filming this, that, or like just even from like a business perspective, you know, you're out there, you're building a roof, you're making something, you're doing manual labor, working your restaurant, you're the owner of a restaurant, you're walking around, managing the floor, managing people. That, right, with something from nothing grind. Yeah. If that makes sense. The two differences in that.
I have to first mention there's no guest this episode. It's just me and Emerrias talking. I have to say that because I think that's a very interesting conversation of like the creative hustle versus like being out in the field. Because I feel like you have experience with both, and I have more experience in like the creative hustle versus like going out and doing stuff. But I think it's interesting from your perspective how you've like done both. Mm-hmm. Although yeah. I'd say that you've been more so out in the field than like me for sure.
From our perspective or our industry is like filming, right? And I like filming. I don't know. It's like, what do I like better, filming or editing? Filming is really fun because it's there immediately. You immediately see the result of your labor. You're like, oh, the angle. You can see it on the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff
like that. Versus editing, which is really tiring. Like 10 hours of filming versus 10 hours of editing. It's like editing is way more tiring. But then also like for being in a field perspective, like every 4 years in college, every year I had to do this restaurant, right, for my entrepreneurship degree. I had to run a restaurant on campus for 3 days. And, we would get up at we would be there like 6 a.m. to set up, for breakfast or whatever, and then be done at like 7, 8 p.m. at night. Yeah, I could do that like all day, like walking around, talking to customers, trying to bring customers in, cleaning tables, serving food, stuff like that. Like that was really fun. And I really liked that. And I could do that like all day, every day, I feel like, versus like 3 days of straight up like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., 12 hours of just sitting down and editing or like writing a script, which is like, dang, that's tough. That's really hard.
It is, yeah.
And then that's one of the things also like I see like with Gary Vee, I'm like, I want to hustle like Gary Vee, right? Like I really look up to that, but at the same time, like he's not doing the creative of it, he's not coming up with the creative ideas and sitting down and doing the editing, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. He's out on the field.
And
he doesn't have a team to edit his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have to think about what is he going to do next. He doesn't have to think about planning. He has all that planned out for him. And he's just like doing his thing, having a camera guy, always pumped up because he knows he's always getting good content, stuff like that. But there's something to be said there, and I don't think he's ever talked about that, but that is a conversation that needs to be had and acknowledged, like maybe you can't keep up with Gary Vee if you're doing the creative, hustle. Maybe it's not possible because I haven't seen anybody, like editing like 24/7, except if your name is Sonic Realms Podcast, that's different.
Oh yeah, we've had him on the podcast. Great episode, great guy. Which, speaking of that, I've been meaning to talk to you about this, and since we're on the podcast here, I don't know if this is gonna get cut out or not, but we need to have him on to do the reverse interview, even though it's been months since we recorded that episode.
Yes, dude, for sure. And then I'm gonna actually like use my my camera to get some nice quality video so I can use that as content, but that's besides the point,
Right, yeah. Gary is very much like having meetings all day. We had this discussion like off the podcast, but you were talking about how like Gary Vee has like meetings all day and you're like, yeah, I could do that because it's just like a lot of walking around and sitting. It's not really like creating stuff. So I do think, yeah, there is definitely a difference between those two, and Gary's more so like on the move. Yeah. Kind of like you. Whereas like D-Rock is more so, D-Rock's on the move. Wait, does D-Rock edit as well?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So D-Rock is more so the creative hustle. Sure, he's still out in the field. Like they're still part of it, but he pieces it all together, so
you stay pumped, you stay woke when
Mhm.
you're just always producing cool stuff, and like, this is gonna be fire, and then
Right.
an hour later you're like, oh, this is also gonna be fire. If you keep
Mhm.
just you stay woke, you're like so much like the fire you're producing keeps on just pumping the next fire, and that's the
Yeah,
thing too. Like, when you're editing, it's like you spend 12 hours, and for what? You don't even have a finished product. It's like,
exactly.
you know, you can play it back, but then you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then get to the part where you haven't edited yet, and you're like, oh boy.
Exactly. Still
Oh
so
boy.
much to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's just hard to stay woke. It's just hard to
Yeah,
stay woke.
I feel like you go through a lot more like mood swings when you edit for hours and hours versus like being on the field. Sure, you get tired on the field,
Hmm.
but I don't it's a different kind of like tiredness, it's like
Physical versus mental.
exactly. Yeah.
Dude. Dang. And that's the thing. Gary doesn't know the creative side of it. Actually, now I think of it, like, he doesn't
Exactly. Yeah.
have that context. So maybe that's exactly why he's not talking about it.
Mhm.
So next time I hang out with Gary, I'll talk to him about that. I'll be like, yo, Gary, what do you think of this? And he'd be like, I don't know. I have no context in that. What do you think of that? What do you think of it? And I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
what I think. And he's like, okay, that makes sense. I feel like it's going to be very fulfilling to talk to him about that, but it's probably going to end up not being very fulfilling. I'm going to be like, oh, I literally didn't get much out of this, like, he just
Exactly.
he's just
Like, you kind of already know how the conversation's going to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. But yeah, that's that's the thesis,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah, where I'm more so like in the office working on projects, whether it's mine or a client's, a lot of editing going on, and then yours more so like out in the field. Although I do in the future want to go out like in the field more and like actually like record stuff for people. But that's like farther in the future, I would say.
The out in the field life, but for yourself, you have like the tripod, and you're making a skit on a tripod,
Mhm.
which is the most tiring thing ever.
Yeah.
It kills me. That's super tiring. Like,
Yeah.
I could not do that, for 3 days straight, for 12 hours. But if you had someone filming you, I could,
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Because then you don't have to think about it.
exactly. So
Mhm.
it's all about mental energy.
Yeah, I think it's funny how like you're out in the field and like you have to hire a cameraman. I can just get my brother who lives in the room like right next to me and be like, "Hey, can you record this for me?" And then I have a cameraman. Boom, done.
Yeah,
For like the shots where I want to like stand and stuff. In fact, here's a little secret. I do have a scene kind of like that in this video I'm working on now, where I'm like
Dude.
standing in the living room, but like, and it's like handheld camera style. But yeah, so I think that's
a
yeah,
whole
I
different
see.
perspective too. It's like
It
moving
is, yeah.
camera.
It's a different dynamic to the video,
Yeah,
is what I've learned.
dude.
Because it always reminds me of like The Office, how the camera's always like moving and zooming in and stuff.
Mhm.
I like it.
That's what I want. That's
Mhm.
and that's what I'm gonna build. Anyways,
Exactly.
I don't wanna toot the own horn too much.
I just hope that your cameraman has some sort of like humor or whatever, like knows pacing and stuff, and like when to zoom in and stuff like that,
yeah, that would
instead
be
of just like
yeah, exactly, and because that plays a big part too. And then
well, I think the funny part is you could totally be like self-aware about it too. I mean, it all
Yeah.
depends on like you, I guess, and what you want.
Mhm.
But I think it's funnier if it's more natural and self-aware.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe get like the cameraman involved sometimes, just out
Yeah.
of the blue,
Yeah.
But up to you. But I don't know.
So now that we've established that they're two different things, let us know in the comments below what you think.
Or you could
Totally.
email us at our email that we've had this entire time that I haven't had the chance to bring up until this episode.
What?
thecreativemindspodcast at gmail.com. Email us about whatever regarding the show. That's what I will say.
We're gonna get
So-
thousands of emails, boy. It's gonna be great.
I hope so. Dude, this email has been empty for months. I want to get something here. But, that's a perfect plug.
I don't think there's anything else to say about that. Like, it's just like, I agree. Yes, I agree. So
What do you mean?
there's not much else to say about that. It's just we're just like
About,
that
like,
this
the
is what's
exhaustion?
happening. Yeah, and like
I mean,
acknowledge it. And
I
like, what else is
think
there to say? Yeah.
I think acknowledging it is important. I feel like, well, on the surface, mental exhaustion versus physical exhaustion. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think it really gets brought out depending on what you do. Like for me with editing, mental exhaustion tends to happen. I usually get physically tired in like the afternoons. That's like afternoon slump for me. But mental exhaustion happens when I'm like editing for hours upon hours and I just need a break. It's because I'm using my brain like constantly. So there comes a point where it's like I feel like fried. Even some days where I don't even like work that much, I still feel like the mental exhaustion because of combination of things. But I do think it's important to realize that there is a difference, and I don't think many people think of that. Like when people think of being tired, it's always like physical, but there is mental exhaustion. It like really depends on like how much you use your brain and if you need a break or not. Really,
waking up at 6:30 a.m. and being super stoked to start the day, but being kind of physically tired versus waking up at like noon and being all like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
And
with my
feeling
life?
guilty, right?
Yeah, and then being physically like mentally like wrecked, But
Yeah.
you're physically like really like well rested, right? But
Exactly. Yeah.
mentally, you're like, it's wake up early and be physically tired, Because, dude, like staying mentally healthy is so tough when you're doing what we do, and you're like,
Exactly.
you get the FOMO if you see your friends hanging out, and you're like,
Yes. Oh my goodness.
what am I doing with my life?
Exactly.
Like,
Dude, I felt that so hard with like the Bad North video. Because I was editing
Yeah.
the part where it's like I was having an ore, which was totally like added in editing, which took me forever because of like the green screen with it and everything. And I remember during that segment, I was looking at Snapchat. I was messaging Lauren, and she was at college with her friends watching a movie. And I'm just like, and she was hanging out playing table tennis and everything. I'm just like, I want to do that. But no, I'm in my room editing alone this video, And so like I feel that, man. It's like, it's not going to get better. Let me tell you, it's not going to get any better.
Probably even worse.
Yeah.
But
Before
it's
in
better.
a way. Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't feel that often, but when I do, it's like, I feel it, like it's very present.
It sucks, and then you just push through it, or you stop, and then like take a breather. It's like I wanna get to the point where I'm on that scheduled like I'm on point, with your scheduling and like getting stuff done. I had a point to this besides this generic crap.
Well, see, it's good. I think there's a difference between us that not many people like know about, where it's like you kind of like try to schedule your day based on like the hour or whatever, and I schedule it based on like what I have to do that day instead of trying to fit it into like a time slot.
Yeah.
And I think that's two very different ways to get stuff done, but nevertheless, like we still get stuff done. So,
Yeah, it seems fun to me. Like it seems really freaking fun to just like work till I like drop. Like that seems like fun. I'm like glamorous. I'm like a lot of people like hate that. I'm like I want to just keep doing stuff and then just pass out and then wake up.
Exactly,
keep
dude.
doing
Yeah,
it.
I feel that. Yeah,
that seems like really fun.
Yeah. I know. Yeah,
It's tough though because working while you're really tired is really hard, and I haven't gotten.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like to get to that point, and like Gary says like gratitude, and I'm like, boy, I have gratitude, but like
exactly.
how do you beat the physical tiredness? Or
Yeah, I've learned that like whenever I like lay in my bed at night and it feels like amazing, I know I worked hard that day. Like I could just feel it. I'm like, oh yep.
And then you're pumped for the morning.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm like ready. Like, dude, I'm excited for tomorrow, and tomorrow's Monday.
Dude,
it's just like
Monday.
Got a lot of stuff to do.
Getting an early start on Monday too is fun. Like, taking a couple hours at the end of Sunday to like do the stuff you have to do for Monday.
Oh
so
yeah,
Monday,
like prepare. Yeah. I thought you wanted to touch on like the marketing aspect of it.
Of the grind.
Yeah, like getting new clients or customers or whatever you want to call it. Or subscribers or, whatever.
I do a lot of hand-to-hand combat, like not nearly enough, but whenever I'm in the zone, I'm like, well, time to voice message all these new followers and stuff, or like just to be like, hey, thanks for following, or like, hey, I saw your stuff, super cool stuff. Let's vibe together. I don't know.
Not gonna lie, I've been kind of off the grind of thanking people for following me, and I feel bad because it's like I've just been busy, and every time I see somebody follows me, I'm like, oh. Oops.
Yeah. And
so next time somebody follows me, I need to,
and also feeling like you're never doing enough, even though you're doing a lot more than like 80% of people.
That is mood, yeah.
And
then, like, I get to the point where it's like I see somebody doing nothing. I'm like, what are you doing? why are you doing nothing?
Yeah.
You know, it just, it annoys me. I'm like, you have so much time and you're doing nothing. And I'm like, time. Yeah. I don't know. But
yeah,
I've trained my brain, you know, and it's good and bad, you know, but
exactly, dude. Like, I feel guilty doing nothing, but then that sucks because I feel guilty taking a break, you know?
I don't think it's that bad for me. Yeah, I'd say that's something you need to work on for sure. Like, taking breaks are very important, especially for mental health. Well, maybe I don't feel as guilty because I have like a day of rest like once a week, which has helped. Implementing that might help you with like your guilt, because if you have no set day of like relaxing, then like whenever you do relax, you're like, can I do it now kind of thing?
Yeah.
So
a set day of relaxing and just doing nothing.
Well, not doing, I mean, up to your discretion. Because, like, even on, like, my days of rest, I would still work on my stuff. I just wouldn't intentionally work on client stuff, if that makes sense.
True.
Because that's kind of like work.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Yeah. So for me, that was, like, last Thursday. Went to the beach with Lauren, so that was kind of my day of rest. Not working on stuff, so.
My favorite YouTube couple. Nice. Dang, dude. I had so many like points to make before this podcast, but like when I'm getting into it now, I'm like, my mind is like empty.
What would you say like the overarching point to this episode is? Because it sounds like it's creative hustle versus out in the field.
It's mental versus physical.
Yeah.
Tiredness.
Yeah.
Like some days, you know, I sleep like 3-4 hours, and then I'm really pumped in the morning. Because I guess the reason I sleep so late is because I'm planning the next day, so I'm like super hyped when I get into it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then at night, you know, I'm supposed to be tired and pass out and sleep, right? But that night, the next night, I sleep late again, and I don't get a lot of sleep either, because I'm so pumped that I'm gonna keep doing stuff, you know. I'm laying in bed because I'm like physically tired, but I'm still like on my phone, you know, in the DMs or whatever.
It's like when you're supposed to sleep, you're not tired, but and then vice versa, right? Where it's like, I'm tired now, but it's the afternoon. I shouldn't be tired. So
yeah, dude. Like right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, but I heard the gym like in the morning makes you not tired at later.
Oh well, it helps.
That's what I've heard.
I'd say getting in the gym overall just helps mentally, physically. I don't know. Ever since like I started doing that on the regular, it's helped me, especially with like my grind, like my creative grind. Because then it's like that tension of like, I had a good example a few days ago. I wanted to work on a script really bad, but then I realized, no, Ethan, you need to exercise. You need to get the stuff done before you be creative. Because once you start being creative, there's no stopping it. And you know that. And so it's just like getting stuff done before getting the stuff you want to get done is important. So exercising is definitely on there. So I'd recommend exercise in general. I think it helps a lot.
What about momentum? Is that something you think about a lot?
I don't think about it. I just do it. For me, I wrote an entire script in one day. So yes, I know all about momentum.
Yeah, dude.
I was just pumped, you know, just like I wanted to get it done.
Yeah, and then you know, and the next day you're like, I got a whole script done in one day. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Right. Yeah. Today we'll be recording that script because I wrote it yesterday. I don't know, but I have like all day today, so there's literally no reason why I can't today, you know.
Yeah.
But like I feel you.
Exactly, but if you don't, it's like, dang. Like
then
for
it's
example,
like wasted time, right?
Like if your parents were like, we're gonna go like do this thing today, and you didn't know, you'd be like, dang, I was gonna record today, and then the next day you're like,
right.
Well, it's Wednesday and I didn't record yesterday, so what am I gonna do now?
I felt that a couple times where it's like I want to record, and then my mom is sewing in the other room, and her sewing is loud, and then I'm like, I just set up recording. Yeah. So like I guess that's another difference that just came up naturally is like I live with my parents and my family, so I have to not deal with but like maneuver around other people's like schedules and stuff and try to figure out when's the best time to record and when it's the most quietest in the house and stuff like that. And then you're just like, if I want to record, I'm going to record, which I wish I want to get to that stage so badly, like, because I felt it.
It's pretty lit. But then over the summer when I'm home, I have to be more on schedule, so that kind of pushes me to actually record, which is like weird because I'm like, okay, everybody's out right now, let me just go record real quick and you have the content and then you can just edit it.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I know I'll have time tomorrow to record because my family should be out of the house tomorrow. So, like, I'll have the house to myself. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So, there's just days of the week I now realize where it's like I basically have the house to myself. And so, most of the time I'll utilize those days. Then I can yell in my recordings and nobody will care because nobody's home.
Nobody cares podcast. Yeah.
No, what? No.
Because nobody cares.
Got him. True. Haven't recorded an episode of that in like 3 months. So, yikes. But, you know, it's fine.
Zach is shook.
Not really.
This is going to be fun to listen back to in 10 years.
For real. Yeah. Did you see my story today? How I low-key ranted about why I document so much?
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
mood.
I was going to say, like, none of you are going to remember this time, but I will. Didn't say that, but I've thought about that. It's like, that's the thing. People around us, nobody actually cares. People are living their own lives. And that's the other thing people need to realize. Nobody cares. So why not try?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Or I could put it in some meme making funnel, you know, thing. Dude, making memes is okay. Let's talk about because nobody from work is gonna listen to this, obviously. A long time.
All right,
so I can rant a little bit.
Come on.
Yeah. I like to call it client work because you know it makes me happy mentally. So editing the same piece of so it's the 16 episodes of the same exact type of video, right? It gets old. Like I was really into it at first. Because I was like, the filming's way more fun now. Because you know, like, and then I have my headphones in. You know, I can hear them on the clip-on mic and everything, the wireless, and it's a cool dynamic. You know,
that is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. But then editing, it's like always the same thing. I'm like, now I gotta sit through 2 hours of footage, pick out the best parts. You know, it's the same thing. We're driving in the car, then we hit a property or whatever, and then we do this and this and this, and I'm like, oh boy. After 16 episodes, it gets old, and I'm like.
Dude,
right, at this point, I'm just, getting my bread. I'm not like advancing creatively. And at the same time, you don't, like I could just, practice and do a bunch, like try to learn new skills and do a bunch of crazy stuff. But I'm like,
you don't see a point in it, right?
Yeah, I'm not motivated.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't, nobody's going to notice. Like, it's the same thing.
Exactly. Dude, I feel that. You want to know how I feel that? Because my most recent client has been a vlogger that I get videos for like, every like day to 2 days basically. It's the same exact kind of vlog every single time. Smash that subscribe button. He's one of those YouTubers, so I get annoyed, but it's money, so it's like I can't really complain. It's easy money, it's an easy edit, but it's just like it's the same video, I do the same things, but it's a consistent client, so it's like you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like easy money, but same thing over and over again.
Exactly. My good friend who was my Xfinity tech, who I went to an abandoned building with the other night. He's a rapper. He's really good. Anyways, we vibe on a creative level, which is really cool. That I randomly met him. But pretty much he was like, people don't pay for like the editing skills or whatever. They pay for the vision, is what he said.
Wow.
Because once,
darn, man. Wow.
Once you're only,
that's
just
sad.
doing the basic stuff, you don't have like that vision. It's like to get your bread, you're like, I'm doing this because I know it's gonna get me money. You lose your edge. So anybody else who comes around and knows the same stuff you do, just out of pure, I guess, like skill or whatever, or just learning it, they it's competitive versus your vision, which makes you super valuable. Okay, he said people pay for the vision, they don't pay for the skill. In a way, because there's a standard rate for the skill. The skill is the skill, right? You have more skill, you get paid more, but the vision is what like sets you apart. So like,
by vision you mean like the finished product?
Yeah, the creative vision of like this is what I want the shot to look like. This is what I want the editing vibe to be, the coloring of it. This is what the video is gonna be. It's gonna be. Like, for example, like a music video. The music video is going to be a freaking bank robbery in space with, like, aliens and crap everywhere, Versus, like, hey, where's the vision? Give me the vision, and I will do the editing and make it into a thing.
That makes sense, yeah.
So, the visions are where the money is, because everybody wants to make some cool stuff, but the ideas are hard to get by.
Well, yeah, because the other thing is they're not editing it, you are. And so, obviously, that makes sense.
And then at the same time, like that's why I was coming client work, like doing the same thing over and over again, you know, you're now you're editing for hire now. You know, you're not like a partner. You're just editing for hire. No, you're not part of the thing.
Yep. I think this is the best job for me because it's like, one, I'm using my talents, like my creative talents, to like help other people and actually get paid for it, which is amazing in and of itself. But because of this job, it's made me so flexible where it's like I can hang out with friends, I can hang out with Lauren, I can work on my own projects, you know? And so because working on my own projects is very important to me, so I try to do that every day. But obviously client work comes first because I'm actually getting paid for that as of right now. And so because of that job, it's helped me be like really flexible, and like it helps me get a lot of other stuff done, like exercise, which is very important. Unlike when I was packing worms or being a janitor, I felt like I had to juggle everything, but now it's like I figured out how to do everything in one day.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
true. It's just hard to be like creatively fulfilled. If you end up just doing client work. Like,
kind of like what you're stuck with. Yeah, you got to make sure to work on your own stuff, not just work on client stuff, which is difficult trying to juggle both, but it is possible.
Because there's always more stuff you could do, you know, like there's always more client work you could do. Like we were like, well, I could earn more money and, you know, do only client work. I would earn a lot more money, right?
Exactly.
But then I would be like, but I would be so dead on the inside.
You wouldn't be as happy, for sure, if you're only editing further. Yeah, exactly. Client work is good because you're utilizing your own skills to your advantage and actually helping people instead of just being a janitor.
Something about like not advancing your skills as you're doing it. You're just there's a point where you're not getting in better. Like whenever I make my own videos, I'm always trying something new. I'm always like getting better, improving my process. You know, being like, this would be cool. Yeah. You know, or even if not editing wise, like being like speaking wise. You know, I know that I'm getting better at like presenting in the night a topic or whatever, or just talking about something, right? But then when you're editing, it's like if it's the same thing over and over again, you're like, I don't know, I've never experienced that, you know, like that you're just editing, but you're not advancing. You know?
That's why I try so hard to do something like different every video of mine, which is why I bought a green screen to begin with, because I was so sick and tired of like doing the same thing. I'm like, I need something different. So although the Bad North video took me a month, super proud of that video, like because of like I just had to do something different. Dude. And it's totally worth it because of it. So it's like when it comes to client work, I'm utilizing the skills I already have. But when it's my own creations, that's where I'm like really experimenting and learning, because like there's really no downfall if I experiment with my own. And that's the other thing, you know, because it's like you're in control of everything. And so if it doesn't work, well, it's on you, but you know, you're learning. So I mean, it makes sense.
And there's the thing where you don't want to experiment with client stuff either, because you're like, exactly. If it doesn't work, I wasted time, and it's all about like speed too.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think this is a very good conversation, because honestly, we haven't had an episode like this where it's just me and you talking in a very long time, because we keep getting guests on the show, which I think to end the episode, we should ask the viewers what guests they would want on the show, and then also discuss right now what guests we want on the show in the future, because I have a few in mind that I haven't mentioned, but
I have a few in mind too that I haven't mentioned or reached out to, because I've been on that trying to get back on the life.
Exactly. So yeah, what are these people? Would you like to disclose them? Because I'll disclose mine.
A rapper who I think would bring a very awesome vibe to it, different vibe, because we haven't had any like he does his own kind of rap stuff, you know, but he also is like a lyric writer and like a visionary for music for hire, right? 3 hit songs now, right? And this guy that was like a vlogger in high school, you know, and these 3 like hit songs took the guy from like 500,000 subscribers to like 2.5 million.
Oh wow.
So in the first song, in the first music video, he wasn't there, he just threw the lyrics. But in the second music video, he was like, nah, I want to, because the first one got like 9 million views, and he was like, I should be in the next one, you know. And they're working on 2 more music videos, and I'm like, dang,
wow,
that'd be a cool perspective, you know. We haven't had many music people.
That's true. Yeah, I also want to. Speaking of artists, I also want to get an artist on this podcast who I think would actually be down, because 1, he watches Gary V, so he would be more likely to answer me and like actually be on the podcast. 2, I like his music, and he used to be in a band called Number One Gun, which was my favorite for the longest of time, and I still really like their music. I'll listen to them occasionally, but he now does his own like solo music stuff, which is really good. So like he's still in the music game, so I think it'd be pretty cool.
Another one I want to have on is John Raptosoft.
Really?
Yeah, dude, that'd be cool. I mean, you have that connection in a way.
Right, but that's true. Even though that's the thing. That's the problem. I have so many connections. It's just I haven't talked to these people in so long. So it's like, will they remember me? Will they care? But yeah, I do technically have that connection, but I kind of don't at the same time, if you know what I mean. Because it was yeah.
Send it out. That would be really cool.
I also want to get this guy called Nate Norrell. He's a friend of Chad Smith, and Chad Smith is like a comedy person on YouTube. But Nate is on that content grind. Let me tell you, he stays up till like 3-4 a.m. editing, and I'm like, dude, I feel you.
I'm jelly, dude. I wish I had that I don't even know what you call it. See, that's what makes me feel like. At the same time, I'm like, dang, like people out here like editing till like 3-4 a.m. like the whole day, and I'm like, can I not do that because I don't love editing enough? Like I'm like, what is it like?
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm like, dang it.
I had this conversation with somebody in a way, like once it becomes your job, you're not like as passionate, except you're also more passionate at the same time. It's weird because it's like you're doing client work that's creative, but at the same time, like you also have your own creative stuff. It's just a different like dynamic now because now you're using your creativity for work, but you're also being creative with your own stuff. Because I felt like I was a lot more motivated when I was a janitor because when I got home, I was like, okay, I have this time now to work on. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's I was back in when I had my like other summer internship when I was in like an office for like 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
So I would come home and that was when I had 2 videos out a week,
Dude, I remember that. You
dude.
read comments and responded to
Yeah, that was fun. And then I hopped onto the daily live stream for a little bit. That was really fun too. That was because I was like, all right, baby, 9 to 5, we're just doing this thing. But then after, it's time to rise.
Exactly, because you're like, no time to waste,
Yeah.
But it's like once you,
home.
Yeah, but it's like once you're in control of your schedule, like things just change. know, it's weird.
To finish up the song that I'm working on right now, like my friend Mike has suggested that I put my phone in the living room and just like just do my thing, and that helps like so much. Like I got it done in like an hour, and I was like, dang, like so I'm gonna do that a lot more. I haven't done it.
I feel like I also probably need to do that. Yeah, because I just have my phone always right next to me, and it's just like
it's distracting, and it kills my vibe too sometimes. Like sometimes I get like a not even like a rude comment, but then something that like makes me think like, oh dang it, like or I just go on Instagram, to push some content, or make a story, and then I accidentally or intentionally click on or subconsciously click on somebody else's story. And I'm like, dang,
right,
ooh, they're over here partying and having fun. Yeah. And I'm like, what?
I think it's so funny.
So I think this my vibe.
Yeah. I think it's so funny how it kind of shows subconsciously where my priorities lie. Because whenever I'm working on like my stuff, like whether I'm like either recording or script writing, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, turn it around so I can't see the screen, and just work on my own stuff.
Dude,
but when it comes to client stuff, I don't do that. So I think that's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, Do Not Disturb is bae. I use it all the time, but then at the same time, like, even if I don't have notifications, like I open my phone, and then I'm like, well, I guess this footage is loading.
20 notifications,
This footage is loading. I guess I need to go on to, or it's it's like it's lagging. Time to go on Instagram real quick and see what's up, and then it kills my vibe.
Exactly, yeah.
Dude,
like whenever
is the thing.
Like whenever I record, I always let Lauren know, because that means I don't respond for like an hour straight, and then she's like starts sending stuff, so if she knows like that I am recording, like she'll be like, oh, he's doing that, so it's like there are some like recording in general, it's like I have to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I need to focus on reading lines, because that takes forever to try to get lines right and everything.
My phone always gets me out of zone. It was just like look at my phone at the end of the day. I just opened Instagram right now to get. So I was like, I got to post a quick story being like podcasting with @MasterEth, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing that pops up in my feed is a couple picture.
How many couples do you follow? Like,
there's a lot of couples. like, cause I follow like everybody from like elementary school, middle school, high school, college, stuff like that. So
right.
there's a lot of people that have pros and couple stuff. So I think it looks like they're winning right now because right now it's very easy to just have fun and go party, because there's no kids, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I kind of remind myself. I'm like, but in 10 years, they're not gonna be able to party because they have kids they have to worry about. So
exactly,
they're gonna be taking care of the kids, and they're gonna be like, what about my own life? They're gonna be like, what about my own life? What about my own dreams and stuff like that?
They didn't use the time to their advantage.
Yeah,
so
I think
past them exactly.
Yeah, playing the reverse game, which is super mentally tough, because
like if you think about it, dude, imagine like Mateo Tunes. He's gonna blow up, and he's like what 14, 15? Like I don't even know, but he's like way younger than us.
Dude, I know, right?
I'm jealous of him. Like he already knows his thing, and I'm like, dude, I wish I knew at that age.
He's earning money doing his craft already, dude.
It's crazy. Sometimes my worst fear is like talking all this stuff, yet nobody's like doing anything with it, which is most of the time. But you just hope that like one person is like, you know what am I doing?
For real though.
Either way, it's documentation, so I can't really complain. Somebody in 10 years will be like, whoa, MasterEth had how many subs at that time? That's crazy. Wow, Emerrias has his own agency, and he used to do what? No way.
Dude, actually, I've been thinking about that. I've been like, I don't really know if I want an agency anymore.
Really?
It's another topic, yeah, because I'm like, the only thing I could think about was to supplement the, the full-time, quote-unquote, YouTuber life. But like, I don't know, like trying to keep working with brands to try to convince them that, content is the thing or whatever.
You just wanted to start an agency because that's what Gary Vee did, right? At the time.
No, because it seemed fun at the time, because when I started with the current job, I was like, it seems really fun, thinking of strategies for companies to boost, their marketing. But then, since I'm doing it now, I'm like, this is not that fun actually.
Exactly.
Like, I want to boost my own thing,
That it always loops around back to your own creativity, right? Every single time. Because even like with the client work, it's like, I'd rather be working on my own stuff. So that's what I know. Yeah, that's what I actually want to do. But for now, this like works. So I can't really complain. I really can't, because I'm the happiest I've ever been in life as of right now. thecreativemindspodcast @gmail.com. Please email us about anything regarding the show. We'd appreciate it. We will read them out next episode if we get any. Let me make sure I actually got the email right. Hold on. thecreativemindspodcast @gmail.com. All lowercase, all one word. And yeah, very good conversation. We should have more of these.
For real, though.
It's, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Creative Minds, episode 15. This has been a really rad conversation with Emerrias about creativity, about what we do, why we do it, why you should do the thing that you want to do. We will see you in 2 weeks. Remember, stay creative.